3 years since I lost my mom. It marks 3 years since I lost my mom. And today is a very special day for me because I lost my mom, but it also helped me to better understand one, what people go through when they are grieving. And secondly, it helped me to think retrospectively about the impact that my mother had on my life, on the life of my siblings, and the life of other people. I'll be sharing just a glimpse of what it felt like losing my mom 3 years ago. At that time, I was still in my 20s, and it was never something I imagined. I never imagined I would lose a parent in their 60s. My mom was 64 when she passed on. And backstory is that a year before then, I had moved from Lagos, Nigeria to Abeokuta to work. And one of the reasons I moved was because I knew that I was going to get more support from Abeokuta where my parents lived. And truth be told, I believe that 1 year was a good time. And I really bonded again with my mom and my dad. I saw my mom almost every week. I would just pass by her store. She had a store in the city center then, and I would pass by her store, have a little chat, buy her yogurt. I really miss doing those things. And it was fun. I know that that year she had some blips with her health. And there was a point where I felt, oh my God, is this the time? Is this thing going to happen now? But luckily, we still had some extra time and she survived it. And I'm just going to be saying a lot of random things. This is me trying to document how I felt at the time. In the past 2 years, I'm not sure, in the past 3 years rather, I'm not sure I've been able to really talk about how I felt, the events that happened, how I found out, my reaction. I really hope I don't end up crying today, but oh well. So, as I said earlier, she had had some blips with her health, but trust me, as of November 2021, the month of her demise, she was hale and hearty. She was fine. She was very well. I would say she was very well. So it was very shocking to me when I heard the news. So the backstory is that I was supposed to write an international exam. That's the PLAB 2 exams in the UK in January. And if anyone knows about the PLAB exams, you need to do tutorials. I had to attend tutorial courses. And my tutorial course was supposed to start in Lagos on the 12th of November 2021. That's the same day my mom passed away. And I had a child. I still have him. His name is Demilade. I have Demilade. And, I just said, okay, I just said I would, just my son rather. Sorry, I was a bit distracted. I said I was going to drop my son with my mom, and we already had the plans. We already looked out for the daycare center that my son will go to throughout the day, and then she'll care for him at night. Everything was well planned. And the morning of that particular day, I had packed all the load. I had spoken to my mom about twice that morning. She told me that she was going to her store in the city center. I mentioned that she's in the city. She had a store in the city center, and that I could drop him with my dad at home. And that was the plan. Everything was all well planned. This was around this, and this is why I'm trying to document this now. This was around, let's say, a few minutes. It was around 10:20, if I remember clearly. It was around 10:20. And I remember that when I spoke to her, she said everything was okay. She was going out. I never anticipated that anything would go wrong. But because I had been stressed the night before, I decided to take a 30-minute nap. And as I was sleeping, I just got a call on my phone. When I saw the call, it was my dad calling. And honestly, when I say I was a bit, I was like, Daddy, why are you calling me again? I've spoken to you twice this morning. I'm coming to see you. Why are you calling me? And I feel like that moment. I don't know, honestly, even as I speak about it now, my heart races. I feel like it was one of the moments that broke me in life. I might talk about it smiling now. It's because God has really comforted me. But truly, it's a pain that is always there. But I just keep relying on God's strength, on God's comfort, really. Anyway, so I mentioned that I had spoken to her at 10:20, and this call came in at 11 thereabouts. That's if my memory serves me right. But I know that the gap between speaking to her and receiving the call was about 40 minutes. And my dad said it has happened. I'm not quoting him verbatim now, but he said it has happened. And it was like, what happened? I wasn't anticipating anything. It's like, your mom is no more. And it's like, oh, dad, please stop joking. Obviously, nobody jokes about death. Nobody jokes about losing a loved one. This was my dad talking about his wife's demise. But it just did not make sense that someone that I spoke to on the phone about 40 minutes to the time had just passed on like that. Like it just did not make sense. She had plans.